You can be wiser as an educated advisor. Hello, everyone. I'm Steve Savant, syndicated financial columnist and money color commentator. On today's show, steps 4, 5, and 6, part 3 in our series on the 12-step process to building long-term relationships with Bob Lochard, Chief Marketing Officer of Gordon Marketing. So let's get down to business. Well, welcome to the third segment, Bob.
Thank you, Steve.
Well, we're talking about vulnerability. I got to say, as a guy, all right, I've always thought, hey, I don't show my cards to anybody, right? So I have a big, it takes a lot to manufacture a kind of a persona or a veneer that people can get through. But you say, really, part of long-term relationships is being a little open here. Talk about that. And how can you do it?
It is open, and it's contrary to what many of us want or would plan on ever doing in life. And my background, as I shared earlier, obviously in the military and such, was anything but showing vulnerability. Sometimes it goes back to the generation we live, the whole men don't cry type routine. But it's important, and I say that, though, with some caution. And as I'm not saying jump out there and wash all, throw all your dirty laundry out for the world to see. But if I'm going to have a great relationship, business type relationship, I have to be willing to be authentic, let my hair down, but be guarded. You don't want to just throw anything and everything out there. I use vulnerability in a way of testing the relationship. Can I be vulnerable around you? Can I share a little bit of my life? Can I take a risk? And then how do you treat it? What do you do with it? And obviously, if you exchange that vulnerability back, what do I do with it? Do I keep it close? Do I cherish it? Do I nurture it? Do I write that down on my notes that, hey, Steve has this side here he could really use some help with? Or do I try to leverage it and use it against you? So the latter is why we're not willing to share. But it's why we should.
Well, I'm thinking, when we're out on social media, and I have seen this I'm all over the place on social media, and I sometimes will share once in a while something from my childhood or something from my past, because it seems to be germane to the subject matter we're talking about. But I've learned that, those real vulnerability times are really for one-on-one people that I have a select group in, people that I know exactly what you just said. They're not going to take me to the clean. They're not going to use it against me. These people feel the same way I do. I enjoy seeing somebody's human side. We all are human. We all are cut out of the same cloth. I don't really see anybody better or worse than the other guy. So I'm there on that. But you have a beware here. There's the best shared with a select few. And I think I just said that, and I said that because I have seen in our business, right, people where they've expressed some vulnerability, some really personal things, and have really had that trampled down. And so I want to be able to be vulnerable, and to my select few, as you suggested, and I got to be really careful out on social media.
Oh, absolutely. The latter can destroy your career. It can destroy your other relationships. It has damaged mine. It's easy for me to get caught up in the moment and share my political view. You don't care. We're in this business relationship, either with the consumer or, in my case, business to business. And my thought processes have very little place in this realm of communication, and I've been corrected by the best of the best to chime it down, and I said, it's my beliefs, I can share them. No, I really can't. And when I say a few, I've learned through life that if we're fortunate, maybe we have 2 or 3 true friends in our life. We have a lot of friendships, but true friends. And so when I share, I'm going to share with that select few that we have gained that moral trust with one another. I need them to know that they can trust me. But they're also the people that when I have the hardest decisions to make in the industry, in my life, my personal life, I can call upon them. They're there at a moment's notice. We can talk by phone. In the world we live in today, we don't have to be together. We can Skype. We can do all these things. But it's people that if I have to make that life-changing decision, I know I can count on them. And they know they can count on me, and that's important to me.
Well, part of that is having the guy's back, right?
Having their back.
Now, that's a military expression from my background, right? From my understanding. But having somebody's back is really a huge issue, especially when things go south in the office, case goes down, something didn't go quite right. Usually it goes pretty smooth, but all of a sudden you have the person's back. I think that's a huge attribute, not only to have, but have somebody have you. When you've had somebody behind you, covering your back door. I love that.
Especially when their sense is that you were wrong. And that the others around are leaving you hang and you don't feel like you have much support. I need to let you know that as much as possible, I'm going to be there for you, have your back. That may mean telling you the truth that says, hey, Steve, you were just wrong. You need to fix this. Apologize, compromise, get over it, whatever the situation is. But that you and I are true to each other. I have your back, you have mine. If you need to correct me, you have an open channel to do so. But praise me too. Have my back. Be there for me is what it really means.
I like this idea about unnecessary conversations. I mean, I have blown in my career serious time on going on about nothing. Complete void. I'm guilty of it, and I know that many of my friends that are type A driver of motives, just like my personality is, they just go off and spin, and no matter what I say, they're going to one-up me on another piece of my resume. So, it's just a tough thing to do. Right. But you talk about it, unnecessary conversations. We got to skinny it down to what we want to talk about, get to it. I got to have another phone call.
And it really goes back to a part of me, which I will kind of blend together in our positions in life, and it really doesn't matter if you're the cashier operator, because everybody has a very important part of life. Titles don't make us important, I've said that, and positions don't make us important. But when someone comes to me, an individual, could be an employee, could be a friend, could be just a distant, and says, hey, listen, I want to share something with you, and the first thing out of their mouth is, don't tell anybody. So this goes back to this part of the relationship where I would say, if you don't trust me with the information you're going to give me, then don't share it with me, because I may have to tell somebody. Right. That's having that honest relationship up front and being able to exchange. So on that, it's that give, take, back and forth, cautious relationship that we have.
Well, if I have that relationship, and I have the vulnerability, and I have the good, I have your back, referrals come a little easier, I've heard. Absolutely. Talk to me about this, because you like this referral issue, and it really helps, and agency builders need to know how to play here.
Absolutely, and if you do, if you'll notice, building relationships is no different than selling. What we teach people how to sell. We build relationships with consumers. We nurture that relationship. And so one of the gauges of your relationship and of a sales process, if I have done a good job, I don't need to ask for them. It's kind of like I've told people in the past, if you go out and buy that high price ticket item that maybe in the back of your mind you're thinking, should I really do this? But once you do it, you want everybody else to partake of it. You want them to call, you want them to check it out, because you were sold and you believed in it. If on that relationship, if I have a good relationship with individuals, and don't overuse the relationship, don't take advantage of the relationship. But if I've practiced all those things, then getting referrals is just a natural part of that process. And I would even go so far to say, if you have troubles getting referrals, if your friends don't offer them, if your relationships don't provide them without you asking, maybe you should go back and recheck that relationship. It's probably not as strong as what you thought it was.
I like the ability, when I've been asked for a referral, I like to nominate people. I mean, if you really appreciate what a person's done for you, I like to nominate them.
Absolutely.
I think that's part and parcel of saying, thank you for your knowledge, thank you for your service, and now I'm willing to, I think there are two people in my family that could benefit from that. So I think that this is a natural part of our business. People love referrals. By the way, referrals are the lowest acquisition cost of anything you and I play in. So we definitely want to learn how skillfully to get them, ask for it in a proper way, and have such service that people will actually give it to us. Listen, don't forget to watch our next segment on our steps 7, 8, and 9, part 4 of our series on the 12-step process to building long-term relationships. And keep in mind, before moving forward with any of the ideas on our show, always check with your tax consultant, legal counsel, compliance officer, or maybe your shrink. And don't forget to subscribe to my consumer show, Steve Savant's Money, the name of the game. Daily content that you can post on your website, social media accounts, and database distribution. I'm Steve Savant. Thanks for watching.